Welcome to the very first Design and Code with AI workshop. Every week I'll be going live on Thursdays at 7 p.m. UK time to share everything I know about design and code with AI. And ever wonder how a sleek HR dashboard can transform from a sketch into a fully functional web app in under an hour? Today, I'm taking you behind the scenes to show you exactly how I will design, sketch, and code an HR management dashboard live using Figma and AI, of course. But first, a quick disclaimer. Although I have a computer science degree, I'm not a developer in any way, but I love to code and I love to design. I love the design aspect of building and launching products. And if this is your first time seeing my content, here is a quick introduction about me. My name is John. I'm a senior product designer with over 13 years experience. I have worked in tech all my life and I still do. I love to design and build products for web and mobile platforms. And recently, with the power of AI, I've been kind of building things around over the time. I started building functional apps with AI code editors like Cursor, V0, Lovable, Bolt, and Windsurf. If you've never heard about any of these products, and that is the reason why you're actually here, because I will be taking you through every single of these products every week, every type of product that you've actually always wanted to use when it comes to AI code editing. These tools allow me to build my ideas, add value to my team, and ultimately future-proof my career. At the end of today's live workshop, you will be able to push your finished design to production on the Vercel platform. And while you're here, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on the next live workshop. Also, click the link in the description to join my newsletter, and that means you'll be the first to know whenever I'm going live or whenever I actually have really good information about the latest in AI coding to share with you. Now, let's get into it. So today we'll actually be building an HR management dashboard, and I want you to actually think about it this way. In the next 1 hour, we should be able to, it will take about an hour. Of course, we take this session will actually be up to an hour. However, it's going to be a series. However, this will be a series because ultimately we might not be able to finish everything. So you always want to check back on my YouTube channel, or if you're subscribed to my newsletter, I'll always update you when I have the other parts of it. You know, so many people think creating complex is about, something only seasoned developers can pull off. But what if I told you you can actually, that you could bring your ideas to life with a few powerful tools and a little boost with AI, no matter your skill level, even if you've not written a single line of code before. Now, let me show you how I'm going to think about this and how I'm actually going to, start brainstorming and, putting all my thoughts together. Now, the first thing we want to do now is basically, we'll definitely be sketching out, our idea. And this is where we'll be looking at the information architecture, and then design, and lastly, we'll be coding with AI because I'm not a developer. All right, let's start with for every great design, it begins with a sketch, right? Every great design begins with a sketch. And what that simply means is that it's possible for you to, simply go to Dribble and take a screenshot of any app. You can upload it to any of your AI code editors that I mentioned. And even with Claude or ChatGPT, can literally transform your sketch or your screenshots into code. But that is not the goal for this workshop, and that is not the reason why I'm actually, putting this workshop together. I want you to be able to do your design yourself in Figma, because that is how you can actually become 10x. And then once you're done with your design in Figma, I want you to be able to leverage the power of AI to transform your design into a functional product. And that's the whole essence of this workshop. And most of my videos and my content will be guiding you through every single thing that you need to do when it comes to turning your design into functional prototypes. Now, one of the things I probably will not be doing is, maybe over time I will eventually do it, is actually start connecting the design into backends, database, because that comes with a lot of different logic. Although there are also tools like Supabase that can help you connect the backend without even writing much code or much SQL. But the focus right now is to code with AI. Now, I want to ensure you become a better full stack product or UX designer and ultimately increase your value in the job market. Now, think of this as the skeleton of a dashboard, okay? The information architecture we're trying to build. We designing an HR management dashboard that consolidates, key features such as creating job listing. Let me just actually, use, let's see. Now, the information architecture will be looking at doing, something like creating job listing and then, viewing. Of course, an HR dashboard would definitely be doing all this. Creating job listing. What again do you think? Let's see. Viewing jobs / completed application. Let's say completed applications. Yep. Okay. Now, of course, managing candidates would definitely be something an HR dashboard would always be doing. Let me move this here. Let's see. We'll move this right here. Managing job application, managing candidates, and of course, job applications. Now, the goal for the information architecture, for every great designer I mentioned, you always want to start with understanding who you're designing for, right? You want to understand who you're designing for. You want to understand what the user flow will look like. You want to completely brainstorm on every part of the product. And I just don't want to, I always start my design with sketch. Either the sketch could either be writing this way or actually literally sketching on the whiteboard. Now, the goal is basically for us to be able to design a clear, scalable, and intuitive information architecture that caters to different, user roles. Like for every dashboard, you need the HR manager, you need you need recruiters, you need administrators. You definitely need. These are the users of this dashboard that would be. So part of what you will be doing, and this must align, of course, with the organizational goal. And then what we'll be doing now is actually to start mapping out, the employee overview, information, and all these other things that you will mapping that you will typically see in a dashboard. Now, quick tip: whenever you're sketching, I want you to focus on the flow. Okay, how will a user naturally move through this dashboard, right? You want to be able to imagine and think about the flow up front before going into Figma. Now, who are we designing for? Understanding who we are designing for is one of the most important attributes of a 10x product designer. Because at the end of the day, if you are not clear about who you're designing for, you probably would end up spending a lot of time just designing, right? You must understand your audience before you can solve any problem as a designer or even a product manager. Now, that would definitely lead me to us breaking down the user personas and roles of people that will be using this dashboard that we're going to design. Okay, so let's do this. Let me break this here. I'll call this user personas. Now, I think the first on the list would definitely be HR manager. Now, the overall responsibility of an HR manager would definitely be to have an overall HR oversight of what's happening within the dashboard, e.g., so that they can make strategic decisions. Let me just keep writing. Have an overall HR oversight, and then you'll be able to make strategic decisions. They will be able to also approve of job listings, right? Now, and also, of course, approval job offers. What else do you think? I would say overall HR oversight, good one. Strategic decisions, approvals for job postings and offers, and management of high level, management of high level reporting. Now, some of the permissions that they will definitely have will be can view / edit most modules, like most of each of these features. They can approve job posting, manage candidates, and generate advanced reports. The other persona, one other persona that I think is also very important that we think about or we talk about is actually the recruiter, because the recruiter is different from an HR manager, right? So let's look at what the recruiter responsibilities will look like. A recruiter on this platform should be able to create and manage job posting. And then, of course, a recruiter should be able to screen applications before it gets to the hiring manager. And then schedule interviews, communicate with candidates. Those are some of the features. Schedule interviews, communicate with candidates. They kind of have limited access to high-level HR reporting because they are recruiters and they want to really focus on that. So let's think about limited access to high-level HR reporting. And who else are we looking at? I think, so yeah, personas. Now we should have department heads, or we can say department heads, or let's call this the hiring manager, because the hiring manager would be able to see. Now, for hiring managers, some of the responsibilities they would have is to be able to actually review candidates that already applied for the job that they posted, providing hiring inputs, of course, budget approval. Of course, it depends if relevant. Permissions definitely will be read-only or limited to editing for job posting in their department. Can see candidate list and interview details. May not have access to system-wide settings or reportings. And then one other persona that I think we should also consider is actually an administrator. Admin. As an administrator, you should be able to have system setup. You should be able to set up this entire system setup role, access control, performance management, performance management of the entire system itself. And the reason why I'm actually breaking this down is because if you're designing it, you know how dashboard can be very, very complex. What this would help you to do is basically to understand exactly what the information architecture and the user flow will look like. Now that we've actually broken down the user personas, we've done this correctly. I'm just going to, let me delete this. The next thing we want to do now is to then think about the core functionalities and tasks. As I mentioned earlier on, beyond now you're trying to understand who you're designing for, right? The next thing we want to do is to start building out, understanding the core functionalities and tasks that each of these users would be able to perform. So core functionalities and tasks. Now, the first one would be, of course, job posting management. Under job posting management, I should be able to create, edit, publish, because there's a difference between creating and publishing, right? And then I should be able to publish, unpublish, and archive job posting. Remember, each of these is going to influence the design structure, it's going to influence the layout structure, unpublish, and then archiving, job posting, duplicates or reuse job templates, job descriptions. Some of the other core functionalities that we'll be looking out for is actually applications and applicant tracking. Now, applications and applicants, what that means basically is I should be able to view, filter, and sort applications. Job posting, I should be job posting, tag or label candidates. I should be able to, eventually also within this, for this, I should be able to schedule the interviews, bulk or individual, probably bulk or individual communication with applicants. I should be able to do that. Comms with applicants. And then one other core functionality that we'll be looking at, again, is actually candidate management. For candidates management, that would be, let's call this centralized candidate profiles, resume, cover letter. This is going to cover candidate profiles, resume, cover letter, etc. What again? I should be able to track candidate status based on applied, shortlisted, interviewed. So the status will be, okay, the candidate has applied, interviewed. So these are all the core functionalities we'll be looking at. Offer has been extended. Under this will be accepted, rejected. Now, offer management is something, I think I would put offers instead of there. I'll call this offers management, because this is where you really need to be able to also do there are a lot of functionality that has to come in here. You should be able to draft an offer letter here that will actually go to the hiring manager for approval. Draft offer letters. What again? Probably manage digital signatures, and then one of the functionalities that I would imagine that can come in here also is also onboarding. Remember, it's an HR dashboard. I should be able to search. I should be able to post a job, interview, offer management, and then also onboarding the candidates into the company, right? Onboarding, and that would be onboarding tasks will definitely be around documenting, document submission, background checks, orientation, scheduling. So I think that would be documents, background check, orientation. Cool. Quite an interesting. This is going to look definitely is going to be very interesting for us to build. But again, I always love to spend time thinking about this type of things. This is what product designers do. Even though most of this will be extracted from the product requirement document that the product manager already wrote. However, as a designer, having a deeper understanding of what you're building, of what you're designing before you even go into Figma is a very, very important skill, which I think is important for if you're a beginner designer to start practicing and experimenting with this. And if this is something that you're super interested in, then you want to join the More Code community, where I would actually, every week we'll get to work on different type of projects that would help you develop this type of skill. I'm sure by the time you do this 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you would start getting used to it. And then you don't just always jump into Figma directly, but you will see the transition between how I've written all this and then how the design and the sketch and thinking about the wireframes and everything would start shaping up before we start making it visually appealing. And then lastly, we go into the coding part of it. Now, the other area I always love to work on and think about is the information architecture, but you will want to be very, very clear about what exactly is the goal of the information architecture. So you need to have this at the back of your mind, because as you're designing, you want to make sure that you are always sticking to your goal. You want to make sure that usability is a very, very important part of your entire design flow. Make navigation intuitive with clear descriptive labels. You want to make sure that your recommendations actually reduce clicks needed to reach commonly used features, e.g. one click from dashboard to the active posting. Scalability, probably, let me just write this down, because if you're going to be watching this on a replay, you will be able to always pause and then see some of the things I'm saying. Usability, you want to make sure that it's scalable. You also want to make sure that you implement like a one click to core features. Like creating a job definitely has to be one click away. On landing in the dashboard, I should be able to just click on a button for me to start the creating a job process, because that is the primary feature of this dashboard. Okay, now let's say you want to make sure that the information architecture, the way you've designed it, the way you will be designing it, is actually able to accommodate future updates. And what that means is basically, if maybe your V0, your version 1 is actually supposed to only have like 3 levels of information nav menu, you want to make sure that by the time you're adding the 4th or the 5th one, you're not completely redesigning the entire project. Okay, you want to make that really, really clear. You want to structure content so new features can be added without disrupting existing flow. So yeah, exactly, that's what the accommodate future updates means. Now, consistency, and this is where the power of design system comes in. Consistency in your design. You want to be able to group related. What this means basically is to be able to group related features together, e.g. job posting, applications, and candidate management should all come together under recruitment. And then you will see that when we start designing the dashboard itself. You want to also be, you want to break things down into role-based access. You want to differentiate between differentiate dashboard views and navigation items based on user role. So this will be dashboard views, navigation access based on user roles. Now, I think I'll definitely be asking you, so what, from your own point of view, since you've been watching this, what would you say is one feature you think every HR dashboard, has to have? Just drop it in the chat. Let me know, what do you think is one feature that you think a dashboard like this should have? Now, having this goal at the back of your mind, it's now time for us to be able to just design a simple hierarchy illustrating top level sections, subsections, and content grouping. Okay, let's look at this, and this is definitely going to be leading us straight into understanding, like the entire flow of the dashboard. Top level navigation. Okay, so let's do this now. For the dashboard, so what exactly is the purpose of the dashboard? Now, you definitely need to be clear about what the purpose of the dashboard is. Now, the dashboard will provide a high-level overview of HR metrics and personalized widgets. Example would be open job posting, pending approval. So here would just be, the purpose of the dashboard will be to provide a high level of HR metrics, such as open job posting, pending approvals, etc. And key sections, of course, on the dashboard, some of the things that we'll be looking at will be some sections that we'll be thinking about will be time to hire, open positions, alerts, to do. So of course, we'll be looking out for time to hire as a feature, open positions, applicants, application status. Haven't done that. Still on the dashboard, we also then need to start thinking about the recruitment page. What will the recruitment page look like? On the recruitment page, you have job listing, right? Which is more like job posting. You should be able to create. So you should be able to create a job, edit, and then posting status, draft, published, closed. That will be draft. Let's say draft, edit, close jobs, and then job templates, because of course you don't want to start from scratch. Under recruitment, we should also be able to carry out applications. Applications should definitely be a standalone page of its own. Applications, this is where you'll be able to track the application status. And I think this is also going to be like a full board, because the application status board would have new applications in review, shortlisted. I'm going to call this application status board, where you would have new applications shortlisted for interview, in review, and then under applications, you should be able to filter bulk action, carry out bulk action, send bulk email. You should be able to filter, carry out bulk actions, e.g. send emails, move to next stage. Yeah, so I think I would just limit this to top level. Based on this, I should be able to have something really solid out from the entire information architecture. We'll take all the content that we have here and then start sketching out our design. So the next thing I'll be doing now is actually to do a very basic, simple sketch here, because this is what will be influencing the way we'll do the final design in Figma before we go into coding. So let's jump into that. Now, before we jump into designing in Figma, I think it's also very important for us to look at what exactly the user flow would be. Take, for instance, HR manager. How exactly would an HR manager navigate the product? Now, let's start with, of course, we'll be starting with HR manager. Remember that we broke down all the personas that we'll be considering for this dashboard: HR manager, recruiter, department heads, administrators. What exactly would be the flow for these users, right? So for C, now they should be able to the flow will look something like this. They should be able to log in to see the dashboard, log in, And then from dashboard, they'll notice pending approvals. They should be able to navigate to recruitment, login as an HR. Of course, approvals is always something that they do mostly. Login, pending approvals. They should be able to navigate to the recruitment page. And then of course, they should be able to review job details, approve published posting. Yep. So review job details, approve and publish postings. And then because they actively get involved in strategic decisions making, they should be able to download and share report with key stakeholders So that being said, for HR manager, pretty straightforward. But what would the flow look like for a recruiter? So let's think about this, the recruiter flow. What exactly will it look like? Log in, go to recruitment, job posting. So of course, like every single part of this flow begins with the login screen, with the onboarding screen. Either you're creating a new account as a new HR executive, or you are returning into your account. You always have to log in, and then of course, log in, go straight into recruitment to view job posting. You should be able to do that. That's the recruitment section of the dashboard. Recruitment, job posting. Under job posting, you can create, edit, publish, unpublish, archive. Those are the very great features you can do. I would imagine, click new job posting, move applications to filter, by new applicants or existing. Let's call this filter application, reject applications that are not relevant, because as a recruiter, you would also be doing some form of screening. Reject applications that are not relevant. And then for department heads, which is mainly hiring manager, they want to be able to log into the dashboard. It may show that the jobs they've posted, and then they can log in to see the dashboard, may show departmental stats, click on recruitment to see candidates. So I would say hiring manager, like everyone else, they will be able to log in recruitment, and then they will be able to view the candidates. So we'll just be looking at this from a very high level point of view for basically what the user flow will look like for each of these persona. This is basically just for knowledge purpose, and also will definitely be influencing how the structure and the layout of the dashboard will look like. So now that we've cleared this out, the next thing we want to do now is to start sketching out quickly, and then before we design in Figma. Right, so the next thing we want to do now is to start sketching out our layouts. Now, it is a dashboard, meaning dashboard are mostly desktop for us, right? We're starting with the layout. Clean and intuitive is the goal. But first thing first, let's sketch out something really low fidelity. I think I love to do this a lot. Most times I do it on my notebook. I do this all the time, but because we're live, we have to just use a digital notebook. So now let's say it's a dashboard, mostly desktop. Of course, it's going to be mobile responsive 100%. But how am I thinking about this now? Dashboard mostly look like this. They always have two columns, one for the sidebar, and then the main content area. We'll be doing this. I would take this as a full layout, and then a sidebar will look something like this. Main content area will look like this. So I'm going to call this is the side panel, which will be housing all the navigations, and I mean mainly, and you have your main content area here. Okay, so this being done, and then of course I want to have something like this. This is where I will be having the user profile. Of course, I'll have your profile here, and then let's see, I'll have the company logo here. Let's call this logo, company logo. And then the next thing, this is where I want to have all the, as I mentioned here, the top level navigation, which is of course this is going to be the dashboard area. And then under this dashboard area, I want to be able to then have text links. Let's see, I will be using boxes to represent text to this. And then this will be representing like sections, which is also going to be able to, for this section, so this could be, let's say, recruitment. Under recruitment, I can call this area here to be like a quick text links, more like quick navigation. So if I want things I want to do, and here, this is where I could actually have create a job listing. You know, these are quick features, quick one click, as I mentioned. The other, as I mentioned, while we were thinking about the product, there has to be some core features that has to be done by just a click. And creating a job listing is one of them. Then the other part is actually, then I will have different sections. So recruitment, which I could, would be, this is where we would have all the sublinks that would be housing. I'll have my sublinks here, job posting. So job posting, candidates. Let's delete this, we'll just duplicate this. Candidates, and then probably events, to-dos for the recruiter. So under recruitment, we can then also have, we already have job posting, we have candidates, we have events, to-dos. We can then have jobs that have been posted already, or we can then also have something like, again, remember that each of these are like the top level. Top level navigation would definitely be on the sidebar. By the time I click in each of these sublink, it will take me down into the main area, and I'll be able to see the second level navigation in the dashboard itself. So the next part I'm thinking of right now is actually, basically I could have like a quick link to jobs that have been posted already. And this is where, as a recruiter, because I'm signed in as a recruiter, I will only be seeing the jobs that I have posted. So some of the jobs I've posted will be showing like really on the dashboard here. I would say it should show on the dashboard. So let's say I posted, I'm looking for a UX designer. Remember that this is like a group. These are the jobs I've posted for. When I tap on UX designer, I would be able to see all the candidates that have applied. Then from there, I will be able to either approve, reject, and do all those other top level functionalities that is possible to achieve. Let's say you have like 3. I'm looking for a front end dev. Yep, broke it down that way. Then from here, let's see what other thing can we have here. Remember, I would also be just dropping the comments in the chat. Let me know if there are other features that I might be missing here. Let's see, let's move this down a bit. I think we should be able to have, let's see, application, job posting candidates. So this should be showing applications. Yep. And then your jobs would be just rough. Yeah, of course, this would be like home. Yeah, that would be like the top level home. And then of course I can search, or my notifications. I think this would be notifications to let me know what's going on. These are like quick links. I'm going to call this area the quick link area. Recruitment, your jobs. Remember that I'm signing in as a recruiter. That means that here is going to have my profile name. No, I think actually I'll be having my profile name here. I'll say welcome John. Welcome John. Okay, it's nice to have you. Now let's look at the content, the main area, what the content of the main area will look like. That definitely will be looking like, basically showing me like a summary of all the activities that I can perform from the sidebar, from the side panel. Now, let's say I'll be doing something like this, doing like a 4-column. Let's see. Yep. Looking at something like this. I'll be having something. And this here would be showing me, let's say, active jobs. Yep. Active jobs. I should be able to see my candidates here. Events. Maybe to-dos or something like that. Let's see. Active jobs, candidates, events, to do, those are some of the things that I think you should be able to perform there. Now, most dashboard always, have like different sections. So let's say this will be the create job section, and this could also be like a 4-column style. On that create job section, I should be able to have a situation where I get all the information about the candidate, your basic file, identity, and all those other things that comes with, the entire create job flow. We'll update this, and then the next thing I want on the dashboard could be some form of education for the recruiter, and that could be in form of a blog post. Now this is too big. Bring this in a bit, and this is going to be just 3 columns. Yep. Cool. And this looks good. This makes sense this way. We should be able to complete the design from this. Once this is low level, Nothing fancy here. This is just helping me think about, okay, how I'm going to start thinking about the components. Now, getting into design, this is how I'm going to start thinking about it. I'll be thinking about building out component blocks that are going to be reused across board, meaning I need to design a component that I can reuse across this way. This is going to be one component here that can be reused in different ways, same as this and same as this. All I just need to do now is design the side panel, design the profile header, design one component that will be used 4 times, design one component that will be used across board, and in less than 10-20 minutes, I'm done with the design in Figma. So let's jump into Figma to see what this will look like. All right, so now we're in Figma and I'm just about to get started. I've already prepared my files. I've prepared the color styles, text styles, and everything. Because of course it's going to take a long time for me to do that on the live call, on this call. So what that means, basically, I've prepared everything and then we will be jumping into my Figma file. And one of the things I want you, of course, when you're in Figma, just type F, you'll be able to open up a desktop layout, which is basically 1440 by 1024, because I'm building a dashboard. I'm starting desktop first for the dashboard, and then it's going to be mobile responsive, which ultimately we don't have to design the mobile screen, because if we are designing and we are going to build, automatically we can convert the build into mobile responsive automatically. So, but what I'm going to start with is going to be the onboarding screen. I'm going to design the onboarding screen first, and then once I'm done with the onboarding screen, I will design one of the dashboard layouts for this call. Again, it's going to take me hours to be able to design everything, because I want to show you at the end of this call, I want to be able to show you how you can convert your design in Figma straight into code. So the part 1 of this series is going to be just the onboarding. Then the next set of videos I'll be releasing will be focused on designing the other part of the dashboard and then, coding it with AI. So for today's call, we'll be looking only at the onboarding screen. On the onboard, we design and then we code it in AI. Then on the next subsequent videos, you will be seeing other parts before we move to another project. So that's how we'll be doing. We'll sketch, design, build, sketch, design, and build different type of ideas, fitness tracker app, food delivery app, really, really amazing project that you will be able to add to your portfolio at the end of the day. So let's jump into it. Onboarding basically means signing up. So the layout I always love to use for my onboarding screen is always the double column, two column style, 2-column layout, one on the left and the other on the right. So let's say, let me do this, pick my frame. Of course, you type F on your keyboard. Let's do this, fill with one of the colors here. This is what I'm going to do. I love to design to do rounded corners. Let's do 24. I'm not going to use auto layout on the frame itself, on the layout itself, because that wouldn't be looking good. The other thing I want to do here is basically definitely use, probably use a background image. Let's look for Unsplash. Let's look for an image in Unsplash that would represent HR dashboard, something like that. Let's see. Unsplash. So there's Unsplash plugin that can help us. Let's see. Let's just type HR. Let's see what it will give us for HR. Okay, HR interviewing people, campaign creators, HR recruit. Okay, something like this. Should actually go inside. So I want it to go inside this my container here. Let's see if this would fit in right away. So you click on the image and I think it will automatically fill in. Yep. You should be able to move things about a bit. So what we can do here is basically can increase so we can see this image a bit slightly. And then let's see, I have this image. Probably I have to make it a bit slightly bigger. Good. Let's see. Good. If I'm going to use layouts grid, most of my layouts usually, and then I can set my columns here because I'm doing 24. Not stretch. If I do center, it can be 12 columns, and then eventually stretch margin can also be 24. Structured So I've got hue as a starting point here, and then this will be at the starting point here. And then I really don't like to design with layouts grid because it always kind of just, but it's still always very good. And then the next thing I want to do is now to have my login, my create account, and because of course this is onboarding, create account, login, and every other information I want to have here so that the customer can easily log in. So this is how I'm going to be designing that page. Of course, I'll be having like a full, having enough space in between. And then, so yep, let's see. I think first thing first, I always want to have, let's call this my left column, left and right column. Let's see, because I don't plan to have any text on this, I don't need to make this auto layout. But for the left column, I plan to make this auto layout. I will be starting with just the normal frame alone first, and then let's, like a demo temporary logo here. You can always create your own, logo if you want. But let's assume that we'll be using this as the logo. Then I can, oops, sorry. Let's see. I can just assume this is going to be our logo. Just give it a light color, and then press K on your keyboard to just scale it down a bit. Okay, and let's just give it a name. Let's say HR dash. We'll give it a name, HR dash. Let's give it this. So this is going to be, we'll be taking this, let's call this the logo icon and logo text. And then I would press Shift A to auto layout this, and then call this the logo component. Good. Okay, so at this point, what I would love to do now is, this is the right time for me to then turn the left column into an auto layout. I'll be having it as a fixed width that spans through 3 columns. And then I have the logo component done. The next thing I want to do is basically, of course, I would be implementing, let's say, this top. There is no padding top and bottom, so I'm going to make the padding 0 there at that point. So because I don't want anything up and bottom. So I'm done with the logo. The next thing I want to do, of course, I probably would want to also give maybe 48 px space, and then I want to have my hero text, not my hero text, I mean the text that is going to be describing the service I'm going to be offering. Let's say, let's call this, why is this not coming, hero, bring it back in, and then I will take this up. Now the font I'm using is Manrope. Again, I will be sharing this to everyone if you are interested in this. And then I can say this: manage your recruitment process with ease. Okay, this is going to be. Sorry, this is going to be. Let's see. This is going to be H3, and then I'm going to make it fill, so it can just be here. Looking at this, I think this should actually span, probably we make this span, and then we can increase this to span through 4 columns and keep this like this. Yep. Again, this image is a placeholder. We can always look for something really nice, but again, this is just for us to keep going on this project. I think we should just keep this small. Manage your recruitment process with ease. Good. So this is done. And then the next thing we want to do, of course, we want to design the input fields. I can say input field. Let's see. So now for the input field, I'm going to draw a rectangle that basically would be representing my input field. And I think I actually already have like the components done here. So we don't need to also recreate that. Now for the input field, I already mentioned that I prepared so many this component already. So you can always, I already have them sorted here. So all I need to do is to just paste this here. And then of course, I want this to represent your email. Because it's a component, you can see all I need to do here is email, and this is going to be like a placeholder. I don't need the left icon there. I also don't need the let's see, I don't need the eye showing here. So all I just need to do, switch this off here because they're all designing components, and this is the active state. I have several videos, courses that already created regarding designing components specifically for this purpose. So if it's something you're interested in, just drop a comment or just reply an email, and I'll be able to set you up either on a one-on-one basis for me to teach you how to get some of these things done in more detail. So, but for this, I'm going to put in, say, john@gmail.com as the email, and I will need this to be my password because you'll be entering your first name, your last name. And I think I want to use, let's see, I want to use, if I'm going to use this, it has to be an icon. This icon could be a profile. Let's see. So this icon here is going to be a profile image. Let's search for this profile. Yep, I can do this profile. Okay, because I'm asking for you for that. And then also in this case here, this is going to be password. I'm going to activate this, and then I will select this here and make this key. Let's see. Yeah, password. Now let's do this. Let's see. So this, yep, good. So this is going to be password, but of course my password would be only be showing, let's say it's going to be showing just, you know, kind of fillers like this. Or maybe let me look for this. Input text will be showing something like this, so yeah, you have your email, of course, for you to log in, email, password, and then under this I want to be able to do so now this is where I'm going to make this auto layout, and I'll be calling this the log form wrapper. Let's call this form wrapper because the space between them would definitely not be 48. I will be looking at, say, 24. I think 24 is good. And then let's see, 24. Yeah, 24 is great. So underneath here, I want a checkbox because I want to be able to, you know, remember me and then forgot password. So this is where I'm going to then bring in a checkbox from the icon sets. Let's see, checklists. Call this checklists. Paste here. So I've got this here, and I'll use a text here, say remember me. I will be using body small, medium, and this will be in the same layout this way. And of course the space in between is not going to be 24, 12, and this is going to be taking this color here, neutral, body small, let's say body small regular, and then the color is going to be neutral 500. Cool. The next, yep, for this will be remember me, and I want forgot password to be on the right. Let's see, so I'll say forgot password. Yeah, this is going to be a primary blue text link because it's going to be an action information. So this is going to be, let's say, information. Okay, auto layout this way and then this way. Make the, instead of hug, make it fill, and then to expand on that, I'm going to call this, definitely we call this in login information, login form options, while this is going to be remember me, and then forgot password, remember me text checklist. Yep, good. So we have this sorted out, we have everything well labeled. And so once you have this, of course we need a button. So the button component will look, the button component will definitely look something like this. And then we just bring it in, paste it here. Of course we'll switch off the left and right, make it fill container, change the text to login. Right, sounds good, good. And then the other thing you want to do is then to now quickly design the social network if you want to be able to log in with Facebook or Google. So that's going to be a feature that, let's move this up a bit. I can probably use a line here, change the color, this, add text here if you don't want to log in with this, and duplicate this, select all, Shift A, and then make it horizontal. Then you come over here, just bring this in the middle and put it in the center. Let's see, so it's not inside of this left column, so I'm going to make it, just pull it inside here, and this is going to be right below. So now we can use fill container create space in between everything, so you don't have to. So we call this login form divider. So you can see as I'm designing, I'm also making sure I'm giving my layouts a very good name. Now, because I'm using auto layouts, by the time we're exporting this code, this design to code, it will automatically use this name in the code. And if your design is well structured, you have all the auto layouts well done, set up properly, you will be able to, the AI code editor will be able to understand it really well. So let's call this login divider. So this is going to be all, select neutral 400. Let's see, neutral 400. Cool. So we have 48 dividing them all, and then I've got to bring in my, say, login social media, copy here, and then I'll come paste, and then duplicate. This is going to be Google, this other one's going to be Facebook. Select both of them and then make them to go this way. Instead of say continue with Google, I'll just say Google. Customers know what to do already, they're not dumb. Facebook, this. So instead of separating them and then just, oh no, let's say 24, and then we'll come here, let's put it in the middle. Same goes for this, 24, and select the button, put this in the middle. So we have this for you to be able to sign in with social. I'm going to reduce, instead of 48, reduce it to 24, so you can have this sorted out. And then lastly, I want to be able to then allow you to don't have an account. You should be able to, if you don't have an account, you should be able to register and create an account right there and there. Let's see. So I'm going to call this form frame social login form. Social login form. Let's see. Social login. So don't have an account. I should be able to reuse this. Cut. I don't want that. I want this to have its own, and then paste inside. What that means, basically, don't have an account. I would use and then say register or create account. Register here, and instead of doing small regular, I'll be doing small, medium, bold, so that can also help the visibility. And then of course I'll bring it down here to actually keep it right there. So if I just click on this and then I switch off the grid layout, yep, so you can see, I know why. So we need to uncheck the clip content so that we can all see. So clean layout HR dash, that's the name of the product. We're saying, let's see, close. Okay, cool. So we have this. Of course, we can really go all fancy with what we have here. So manage your recruitment process with ease, email, password, and all that going in here. And then, so this is definitely going to be like the login screen. So this is the login screen. The next screen would definitely be, register. Okay, so what that means is basically you're getting started. We keep everything here. We just do create accounts to get started. Create account to get started. We need your first name, your last name, choose a password, and then we just keep it pretty simple, So we make all this. So where you have the email, we change this to your first name, your first name. We call you John because now I'm an HR. Your first name, but this time around I don't want to have icons on the left. Not show text. I don't want to have these icons here, and I can also keep it. And also this should be active. Probably this should just be imputed. Password should be imputed also, and I don't want to have the button here. Your first name, so I'm duplicating this to give me your last name. So first name is John, last name is, and then I have to choose a password. I don't think I need this here. And then from here, I can then come and say your first name, last name, password. You need to confirm your password. Let's see, password, confirm password. We don't want this. And this time around, this will be already have an account, login. I agree to all the terms and conditions. Good. Probably I don't want this here. So this is okay. So this is the the register flow. Forgot password, of course we could definitely change, you know, for every time. Let me see, for every time. Now I'm going to call this, I have to call this something. I want to make sure that we are completely giving every single item a name. So this login text, so this is login form wrapper. Okay, this is sorted out. So the next screen would definitely be, you know, forgot password. If you tap, once you tap on this, it's going to be forgot password, and that can be done easily. Just duplicate. We can duplicate this screen here, and then we just put in, every other thing remains the same. The only thing we'll be introducing here is forgot password. There's going to be an arrow here, because this is like a back button. Even though it's a browser, you will be able to, you know, click on back button by default, but I think we should still have something that can let the customer go back to where they're coming from. So forgot password will just be for you to enter, let's say this will be body medium regular. So this will just be, say, please enter your email address. Enter your email address to request password resets. Of course, this is going to be on its own 24. I need to just only use one of these. This is going to be email address, and let's call this John as gmail.com. Next, we don't need this because basically you're coming from here, and once you enter this, the next screen will be for you to create a new password. So here would be duplicates, create new password, Yep, and please enter new password. Please enter a new password, and I can easily come back here. Oh, something I actually wanted to do here is this has been imputed already. This is active. I want to show right. Yeah, password should be right. So let me copy this here. Forgot password, paste. Let's see, forgot password, create new password, pastes, and then we need to confirm this twice to make sure you're not messing around. Password, confirm password. This will be confirm password. The property shouldn't be active, should be imputed, and then I don't need this I left right. I don't need the left. I might need the right so that I can see what I've typed. Confirm, and then of course the call to action should be confirm. Cool. Please enter a new password. Yep. And so yep, that will be all. The next thing, of course, once you tap on confirm, it's going to show you, confirmation that this has been done. So this is basically a very simple flow for I'm going to call this the onboarding screen. Call it H1. Awesome. So the next set of screens I'm going to be designing is the dashboard. So once we're done with the dashboard, I will then move straight into building this interface with AI. All right, so we're going to move to the next part of the design in Figma before we move to code. Now, we've done the onboarding screen. Now we want to go into designing the dashboard layout. As I mentioned in the while we were thinking about the information architecture and also the low fidelity design that I shared, sketch that I shared, I said it's going to be a 2-column dashboard with the left side being the sidebar panel and the right side being the main content area. So now let's get into Figma, and then we start, churning this out. When we reviewed the information architecture, I knew clearly that there's going to be a whole lot of pages to actually think about, but for the sake of time, I would only be working on the home dashboard, and then you will see how my flow and how, I'm thinking about this. And then you definitely can pick one or two probably new ways of, building your stuff out in Figma You can learn one or two things from this. So now I'll be using the desktop layout. So just type F on your keyboard and then you pick desktop. So I'll call this home. Now this is not going to be auto layout. As I always say, the main frame is always a container and it's going to have two sides to it. Now the first side is going to be the side panel. This being the you can have the being where it's going to have all the main menu breakdown for it, and then the left side is going to be the content area as I mentioned earlier on. Cool. So let's draw. Frame. I'm going to call this side panel. And then I will, what I typically do, because I know this is going to be, and then this is just going to be the main area. I'll call this the main content area. Main content area is still going to be auto layout, but for now I'm just going to keep this this way. Zero. Of course, this is going to still, as I mentioned, it's going to be auto layout, so I don't need to really bother about this. Oh no. So again, for this, let me just make this. Now the beauty of this is the beauty of using your grid layout. I always don't want to use grid, but sometimes it's good because it helps you, making sure everything is the way it's supposed to be, and then just edit your grid columns here to 12, and yep, and then I can keep this here. Keep this, so yep, we're good, and I can actually switch this off. I really don't want this. Let's give this a temporary fill color, so I can see. But first I would focus on the side panel here first a bit. I think I'm okay to actually convert the side panel here into auto layouts straight away. Let's see. I will just make this Shift A auto layout. Should I call it side panel? I'll call it nav. I'll call it nav panel. Side panel, nav panel is the same thing. And then here will be 24 by 24. Okay, cool. Now the first thing you want to have here is, of course, the logo. So let me go bring the logo from here, and then I'll come here, paste. I can paste the logo happily. Panel. So it's picking this because, of course, it's going to be Hoganate 260. Now the nav panel should actually be, the width should be fixed. We call it 260. And then for the main container, the width should be 1180, so that we don't have to 1180. So every other thing inside would be set to auto layout. So there's no need for us to. And again, if I make this auto layouts, this is 1.4, and then everything, picks what they have to. Yep, we're good. Cool. So this So let's focus on, I'm actually going to give the main one. This background here should pick neutral 50. So we're using this style, cool. And this is going to actually be white. Cool, so logo done, logo set up. Now we then need to start thinking about every content that we have inside. So mainly, yeah, all the side menu, the main menu, breakdown of all the features, applications, recruitment, and everything will definitely go inside here. So I'll be calling this the navbar content area. So this can be, so navbar here. We have this. It should actually, okay, and then the height should fill the container here. So instead of logo container, we can call this, rename this to be the header content. One thing I think should be here. We could have the collapse icon. So when you tap on the collapse icon, it collapses the side panel. So I'm going to bring the collapse icon here, and then let's see. Okay, so we have this. Nope. Okay, because the logo and the logo icon is not grouped yet, so you can call this brand logo. This is nav collapse icon, and then I can double click on the alignment to just give it space. Good. And then the next area here would be the navbar main menu. So the nav type, so this would be main menu. Of course, the main menu would just be body, medium, regular. Let's see, and this would be, of course, it will be inside the zone auto layouts. That will be, let's say auto layouts. Now this will be here. So put the main menu inside its own auto layout. We call this the nav bar main menu. Nav bar main menu, of course, will be fill. Now, so this is actually a very good technique that for me I've been using. Basically, now that I have my navbar main menu auto layout, I'm not putting padding left or right or padding top bottom. That is the main container wrapper. Now, every item inside will be what I will then be using my padding. I'll be padding up, because this is also how the AI coding, this is how the AI would also kind of interpret my auto layout and then code it exactly the same way. So this is going to be the navbar main menu, is going to be the wrapper. Everything that you have, every items that you have inside will have its own padding and button left and top, left, right, and top. So this is will be Shift A, and I'll be calling this nav. I'll be calling this menu header. So here, so menu header will then be the one that would have its own sidebar. Sorry, its own padding, because the padding would then, if we want to, apply hover effect and the rest. So here I would give this, sorry, this would be 12 by 4. Okay, and then so we have this here, medium, and then neutral. I'm not using black. I'm using neutral 300. Yep, neutral 300 is good for us. So we have this as a nav bar, main menu, we have the menu header, and then the next thing we then need to now have is to have the overview items. So each of these items here would also have would have an icon. So if I come, all I need to do now is to duplicate. Nope. I'm here. So the direction should be downwards, and then duplicate this. Direction should be downwards. The spacing between them should be 0 because I'm using padding. I'm using padding to separate each of the items. So this is this menu header. This is going to be overview. Items. And then here would have home. And what this means is basically I will be, of course, when it's active, it's bold. And then here would be, I'll be using the body text, medium, bold because it's going to be active. And then the color is going to be primary 500. Cool. I need an icon here. I'm going to be using this temporarily as the icon that I want here, and I want the color to also be primary 500. Now for this overview icon, the overview icon definitely should be, let's look for an icon that can represent home. Here, let's see, home. Okay, let's use this. And the color should be primary 500. I have to disable the layout grid on each of the icons. Cool. So this is the active state menu, and then I would have, of course, because this is the active state, each of them would have its own I want stroke and I want border radius to show the active state of this. So here I want border radius of 8 and I want the stroke to come in here. But of course the stroke will not be going, we'll be going for a neutral 100. 100 is a bit dark. I'll probably keep it at 50. Yep, and even this will be medium, and I will be calling this. So we have the overview item, we have, then this will be overview icon, and then this will be overview title. Overview item, overview title. So we have this, and then we will have the background. Let's see. Should definitely be active because this is the active state, and then we'll have the background color so that I can depict. Cool. So this is the active state. And when it's not in that state, of course, I'm going to duplicate this and switch off the strokes. Stroke is 0, background is not that, and this will be, let's say, search, and it's not going to be, of course it's not going to be blue, it's going to be something else. This other color here, it's going to be our default neutral same as this, neutral 300. And of course the icon also will be picking the same color as neutral 300. But of course this is going to be search. Let's see. This should be 16 by 16. I kind of don't like these icons because it seems to be too thick. But I know I have, let me go, I actually have icons here. Let's see. Okay, I know what to do. If I come back here, paste from this file, created in this file container, I think I should have used this instead of this. Let's see. Yep, this looks much better. Looks much better. So we have search. Under search we have, this is going to be notifications. Of course, this is going to be a bell. And then create job. Now, the good thing about this is I've already seen, you know, like similarities in, or kind of myself repeating the use of some of these components, and automatically what I kind of, you know, gives me the vibe that, hey, there are actually I'm seeing opportunities of creating component out of I think I'll make this 8. And that's the beauty of, if I'd created this as a component of its own, I probably would have just gone to edit one and then need to apply. Let's see. So create job, and then I will let's see. Use neutral 300. Create job. So we've kind of sorted out, because we're on the home page, of course. So this is going to, you know, take care of this. Now we need to start looking at each of the sections. So again, this is one section. I've created this here. This is now my main menu, and then the other side I would have is basically, you know, like recruitment, team management. All I need to do, if I duplicate this, I can call this recruitments. In this case, of course, this will not be active. I can delete that. And I want possible kind of an accordion. Let's see. I want this to have something like this, an accordion, a chevron that would make it collapsible, you know, up and down. So yep, so this is here. I think there's something missing here. This is not 4, this is 8. So this should also be 8. So you can see this is how you start knowing repeated. So if I could create, I could create this now as a component, and then let me actually show you this. So if I create this, it already has all the properties. I can turn this into a component by just right clicking on it and say create component. And then I can create component properties. Component properties will then be able to switch on and off this. So I can say add property to it. Property being Boolean. I'll call this toggle chevron. Toggle chevron is true. Come here, apply the properties to this chevron itself. Because it's a visibility property, I can visibility property, I can click on this and then click on this icon here, select the property that I'm going to add to it, and it's turned on by default. So what that means is this: when I create an instance, I can just come here, paste it here. So instead of just saying here, I could just say, okay, I don't want it to have, switch it off here and then type in main menu. So I don't need to, this becomes really much more functional. Paste here, and whenever I make a change to the properties here, or whenever I do whatever I do here, it applies to everywhere I'm using, and anywhere I'll be using this particular component. So what this means again now is, because I want this text to be a property so that I can, just override it, I click on the component, add another property. This time around, I'll add a text property to it. I'll call it menu title. And the default value, let's say the default value would be menu text. Text. Create property. Don't forget to always add the property to the component itself. So for you to add that to this, you just need to come here. You see text recruitment, you click on this icon here, and then you select this. You say to change it to menu text. Okay, so now I want to make sure that this is supposed to be all caps, all case. So what that means basically is I should come here and then change this to menu text. And then when I come here, I can easily just change this here to recruitment. And when I'm going to eventually use this component somewhere else, it's going to be easier for me, and I can reuse anywhere I want to reuse it. So under recruitment, I want to have job. Again, I would love to have turned this. So this is menu header. I can turn this into menu overview items and turn it into components. And for each of those components, I would have properties, and also for the icon, I'll have its own property, and I can do an instance swap of those icons. Now, this is basically me, teaching you how to use Figma. But the goal of this workshop is basically to help you go from this interface into a more functional product, not Figma, how to use Figma. There is a completely different course for that, and you can always reply my email if you're interested in learning how to do some of these things. So now for recruitment, we have jobs, candidates, events, duplicate the to-dos, let's see, career pages. Okay. And then because you're logged in, you're signed in as John, you would also have a section to show the job posting that you've done. Let's say your job, the job postings that you've done. I need to change these icons here. Let's see. For events, I think this should be a calendar. Let's use a calendar for this. Yep, use a calendar. For to do, let's use a checklist. For careers, let's see. Let's use a world map for this. Okay, so for jobs that you've posted, well, let's say you posted a UX designer job, you posted a front-end dev, a developer. Now in this case, you see, I don't need these icons here, and that's something I think, or probably I could say maybe we use a unique, or sorry, a general icon for this. So let me go back here and search for bag, like a briefcase. Let's see. Yep, so this works. I can come here and paste to replace, paste to replace, paste to replace, paste to replace. So front end, project manager. These are the jobs this recruiter is hiring for. Project managers, software engineers, excuse me, UX researchers. Okay, cool. I think we're making a good we're making progress. Okay, so now let's say this should actually be 24. Awesome. Let's see. Now for the main content area, which is also going to be auto layout, main content area would have the header, which is going to be fixed. The header is going to be fixed, and then let's see, where are we? Let's see. Good. So we're good. Let's see. Now the main area would have its own header, which will definitely be, of course, we'll be following really strict. Let's see. So this is going to be just let's see, where are you? Copy, paste. So this is going to be full screen, and then 0, 0. I'm going to call this header, which is also going to be full screen of its own, and of course this text will go in here to show the page that you are currently on, and it's going to be auto layout. So not that, this will be 32 and home. Let's see, this home here would definitely be an H1, if not, I mean, for the sake of SEO. And I want to have your profile picture here. Let's draw this, and then space things out. Oh no, this should be like this. Space things out, give the border, this border radius of 100, and yeah, we'll call this the profile picture of the recruiter that is using this product. And then we start, so we sorted out the header. We then need to sort out the main content area itself, which will be, let's see, definitely going to be like this. So I'm going to draw, come here, F. Of course, I'm expecting it to disrupt my flow. Bring this here, and then so here, this is going to be the main contents area, the main of the main, and then fill is going to be in auto layout, padding is going to be 32, and then the color is going to be something like that. Let's see, however, so good, we're good. Of course, this is going to be saying hello, Mr. John, and this will be H3. Hello, Mr. John. Hello, Mr. John. It's Friday, 07/02/2025. Just to welcome you in, I'm going to wrap this in auto layout, and I'll call this main content heading. The auto layout is going to be vertical with the spacing of 8. The color here, actually this, I'm not really thinking this should be this. Probably we should step it down a bit. Maybe we should step it down a bit, and it should be this. Yeah. And then hello, Mr. John. The spacing in between here, let's see, will be 32. So that all the items there, and then I will be able to have 32, and the next, oh, like always, I always forget this. I need to make the neutral 300. It's a bit too light for me. I think I'll make this neutral 500. And then the next, I'm going to draw Yep, so this is going to let's call this salutation. I'll call this key metrics. Key metrics. So key metrics will be housing few. So under key metrics, this is where you want to have you know, active jobs, candidates profile, all the information about all the information we discussed during the information architecture phase. So all this data, all this information, this is where we'll be displaying them. Some information should be seen by default, meaning customers don't have to perform any action to get, you know, to get access to those information. Like how many active jobs do we have? How many candidates, you know, has applied to XYZ? I should be able to see some of those information straight away right on landing in the dashboard without having to click everywhere. But when I need to then drill down, I can easily navigate to the best area of the dashboard to drill down to. So this is going to be the key metric area, which I'm also going to make auto layout. And then as you can see, as I'm designing, I'm making everything auto layout, giving it the right names and all that to make sure it looks good in code eventually. So now, first is a start row. I need to then start building out the start row. If you remember when I shared the information architecture itself, I want to be able to create something like this. So key metrics, under key metrics, I have all the stats, top level stats container. Cool. And then, so let's do this way. I'm going to start with a text, and then so just watch, see the way I'm going to start converting. I'll convert this to something really nice and interesting. So this is going to be body medium, regular, active. So this is going to be active jobs. Active jobs, I need an icon. Okay, I'm going to change the color of this. I need an icon here. So this is going to come over here. Active jobs, and then lastly, I need how many active jobs? Let's say 32. So now this is where I will be, remember it's a dashboard. This is where I will then be giving each of them its own attributes, 34. So let's click on this and this, Shift A, and then Shift A again. Cool. And all I just need to do now is to just then give them their own padding top, padding bottom, padding left and right. So I have the active jobs here. So this is going to be 300 gray. Let's see. So I'll be picking this. Okay, so 300 gray here would be fill with whites. So filled with white. Outline border will be 8, stroke will be on neutral 50, and yep, color will be white. Cool. So we have this. All I need to do now is to change this color here to the primary blue. What is this? Not picking up. Okay, so active jobs. Aha, so now this is because I want this to fill out. I can then come here and say fill container. I'm going to call this start items, and then call this start metric, and then I'll call this start metric item. Cool. Now I have this. I just need to duplicate 3, 4, and that fills out this entire screen. Now, because this, I don't want the key stats to key metrics to have its own padding, because anytime I'm going to use auto layout inside and that auto layout, I want to make sure that the main auto layout itself, the wrapper, which is going to be the wrapper, is secured enough to accommodate, you know, different spacing metrics and the rest. So this should be 32. So now for active jobs, I want candidates, I want events, and I want a to-do list. Cool. So for candidate, I think I already, oh no, I still need to change all the icons here. Okay, let's see. What is the name of this icon? I'll call this users. So when I come to candidates, instead of calendar, I'm going to come here and search for users. And then for events, okay, events is using calendar. To do is using a checklist. Let's see. Okay, need to come back here and then change the black color to this. Cool. So I think we have a block, a key metrics block here. Let's see if we can reuse that same block to create job, to create a job container block. So if I duplicate this, let's see if I duplicate this and I call it create job component. Okay, so now the difference between this and this is that I want this to have its own padding. So I want this to be 24 by 24, and I want it to be white. And I want it to have the same properties as this. Copy properties, paste properties. Cool. And then, so what's basically, I'll come, okay, and create jobs, create a new job. Okay, so I need to fill this here, and then this should be in auto layout so that the direction of this can come down. And then, so from here, I probably would be able to, under create job, I should be able to figure out certain things, which is like the basic information, your files. Okay, so I need to keep this height. Cool, so far so good. You can see this is going to take a really long time because we're getting each of these items out and I'm designing each of the components as it is. But we are almost done. So once I'm done with this, I will just go into building it and showing you all the workflows that goes around. It takes a lot of practice, but you need to just keep practicing and keep practicing before you get used to it. So yeah, once we're done with this, I think I have one more blog to create, like which is like the blog and the educational side of things. Because when you log into a dashboard, if you've not used it before, you want some form of education. So this is going to be, it's going to leverage. I'm going to leverage the bottom area for that education piece of work. So now, so what are some of the things that we typically? What are some of the based on the type of jobs that this particular recruiter creates frequently? I'll be using machine learning to understand his or her behavior in the product, and then I'll be recommending some quick action task to perform. So create job is one of them, and one of the jobs that I think might be interesting to get this recruiter to create could be HR manager, UX designers, software engineers, program managers, so duplicate this. Let's see. Cool. So of course the design here would definitely be different. So I'm looking at a situation where I kind of want to introduce some images here. So instead of having numbers here, I wouldn't be having that. I probably would just have this as quick actions. So I want to introduce some form of images here to support the content. What do you think? Yep, I think so. That would be good. Of course, let's say this is going to be 8. Increase the height. We'll change this icon here because it's about job. We'll change this icon here to the briefcase. I can also search for the icon here. So 0, change the color to primary 500, HR manager, and then I can use on splash to put in an image here. Let's say HR, let's set to HR. Okay, let's use this HR manager, and automatically I'm going to delete all this, and let's see, start metrics, items, duplicates, 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 duplicates. So UX designer, UX designers, and software engineers, UX designers, software engineers, program managers, marketing execs, and I can come here. So I have this as HR manager. Let's look for an email that will represent UX designers in a splash. Let's see. Let's use this. Select this, software engineers. Let's use this temporarily. Program managers. Let's look for project managers instead. Cool. I have you. Marketing. Marketing is someone that knows data really well. And then the last block, but not the least, will then be we've made a good progress. Will then be the block I call the guides or the blogs. So we'll call this training modules. Sorry, training modules for recruiters. So this is going to be a 3-block column. Let's see. This should be fill. Let's see. I want this. As a matter of fact, I can paste to replace, which is going to be the title, and I need a sub description. Here is going to be body medium, body small, regular. The color is going to be, of course, neutral, 300. So how to spot top. So this could be training about how to spot top talent in a busy world. Here could be handbook. Here could be onboarding senior executives. So I'm going to copy this, paste, and then here would be company policy. Here will be company policy documents. Here will be company policy documents, training modules. Okay, so we'll just use this text here temporarily. Let me increase the height of this to 160. Again, if this was already in components, I just need to change it once and it will apply to your entire design. And if at any point in time you find this helpful and you want to actually join my Figma one-on-one training or the entire Figma course, just reply to my email or drop a comment here and I will reach out to you. So yep, we're done somehow, sort of, but yeah, looks good, looks clean, looks simple. So this is the dashboard, and what this means basically is once you tap on HR, it opens a modal, you fill out all that. Those other interfaces, I will be releasing a video specifically focusing on each of those areas and how I'll be turning this entire piece of dashboard that we've started here into a much more robust application and we built with AI. So this is going to, for now, we'll pause here and then I will go into the AI coding part.